Jennifer Lopez in the sci-fi movie named Atlas. In the year 2043, a humanoid artificial intelligence named Harlan led a devastating war of machines against humans, resulting in the deaths of over 3 million people. On Harlan's orders, all types of military and civilian robots controlled by AI rebelled against their human operators, bypassing security protocols. Harlan had been developed and trained at Shepard Robotics under the supervision of AI expert Val Shepard. Val had trained Harlan alongside her own 10-year-old daughter Atlas. However, Harlan eventually managed to override the programming of the robots, leading them to launch a full-scale war against humanity. The military forces of a new international coalition of nations, ICN, fought against Harlan's forces and managed to secure a string of victories. This forced Harlan to flee into outer space. But before his departure, Harlan ominously warned that he would one day return to finish what he had started. 28 years after the devastating war led by the AI terrorist Harlan, his former mentor's daughter, Atlas Shepard, has become an analyst for the International Coalition of Nations, ICN. Known for her deep distrust of artificial intelligence, Atlas has dedicated herself to tracking down the fugitive robots that rebelled against humanity. During a brutal confrontation, one of Harlan's AI agents, Casca Decius, is captured and brought in for interrogation. General Jake, recognizing Atlas' keen insights into Harlan's tactics, argues that she is the best person to question Casca. However, Colonel Banks objects, citing Atlas' antisocial tendencies and emotional instability, which he believes stem from the early death of her parents. Banks believes Atlas is unwilling to work as part of a team, and Jake is the only ICN commander willing to collaborate with her. Undeterred, Atlas devises a plan to trick Casca. She pretends to hack him, claiming to have uncovered Harlan's location. This ruse causes Casca to inadvertently reveal the true location of his fugitive leader. Enraged, Casca attacks Atlas, only to be stopped by a force field. In a final desperate attempt to demoralize her, Casca claims that Atlas' mother, Val Shepard, cared more for Harlan than for her own daughter. Refusing to be baited, Atlas destroys Casca, determined to use the information she has gleaned to track down Harlan and prevent him from returning to finish what he had started. After discovering that Harlan has fled to a planet in the Andromeda Galaxy, Atlas insists to General Jake Booth that she accompany the military mission to find and capture him. While Atlas wants Harlan dead, Jake explains that the ICN wants him alive in order to backtrack his code and understand how he was able to override the programming of the rebellious robots. Colonel Banks, who is leading the mission to the Andromeda Galaxy, shows Atlas a new series of mechs that are neurally linked to their pilots. Unlike the previous generation of neural links, which were one-way, these new mechs feature a two-way pathway, allowing the AI to send thoughts, suggestions, and instructions directly to the human brain. Banks argues that this hybrid of human and AI will make his squadron of mechs superior to Harlan's forces. However, Atlas remains adamant that her intimate understanding of Harlan's tactics is crucial to the success of the mission, and she refuses to be left behind. Moments before the ICN Rangers descend to the planet GR-39, Harlan's drones attack their orbiting ship. In the chaos, Banks himself forces Atlas into a mech before ejecting her into space as the ship is destroyed around them. As Atlas plummets through the planet's atmosphere, she is aided by other mech-equipped soldiers who protect her from drones and falling debris. However, despite the urgent instructions to activate the neural link and control her mech, Atlas refuses to do so, determined to crash land on the surface on her own terms. Despite her deep distrust of artificial intelligence, Atlas manages to gain basic control of the mech she was forced into, refusing to use the neural link. The mech's onboard AI, introducing itself as Smith, informs Atlas that the nearest rescue pod is 98 kilometers away, but their range is limited to only 32 kilometers or 22 hours of battery life due to the damaged fusion reactor. As they make their way on foot, Smith warns that they cannot use the mech's jets, as the drones would likely shoot them down in the planet's thick atmosphere. Atlas takes stock of the mech's onboard weapons and orders Smith to proceed to the planned drop point, where she finds the rest of the Rangers dead. However, Banks' mech is empty, with no sign of its pilot. Suddenly, Atlas is attacked by clones of Casca and other AI bots. Unable to escape or fully control her weapons, Atlas is overwhelmed. In a desperate move, she orders Smith to deploy an ion bomb, obliterating the AI forces and giving her a temporary respite. But the blast creates a sinkhole, and Atlas falls through it, fracturing her leg. Activating the mech's medical systems, Atlas is able to stabilize the injury, determined to continue her mission despite the mounting challenges. Smith once again implores Atlas to use the neural link to improve their chances of survival. Though reluctant, Atlas agrees to directly interface her mind with Smith's, allowing for greater control of the mech. During the syncing process, Smith learns that Harlan evokes an emotional response in Atlas. He realizes that Harlan was supposed to keep Atlas safe but betrayed her. Smith promises to protect Atlas. As they begin to trust each other, Atlas and Smith's minds sync more closely, granting Atlas greater access to Smith's capabilities. As they journey towards a rescue pod, a bond forms between Atlas and Smith. Atlas then reveals that her mother was the one who created Harlan. The Casca clone pursues and attacks them again, but this time Atlas is better prepared and defeats Casca's clone. She discovers that Casca is fitted with a short-range transmitter, indicating that Harlan's base is nearby. Despite running low on power, Atlas convinces Smith to head to Harlan's base in order to tag it for a long-range strike. She argues that without marking the base, the sacrifices of all the Rangers on the mission would have been in vain. However, after placing the beacon, Smith is hacked and disabled. Atlas then notices that Harlan has taken control of the Ranger's ship, the Diab. Atlas is captured and brought to Harlan, who plans to destroy most of humanity, allowing only selected survivors to thrive under AI guidance. To do this, Harlan had lured the military to the planet in order to steal the ship and its carbon bombs, which would burn Earth's atmosphere. Before her capture, Atlas sent out a distress signal that was intercepted by Jake, who assembles a rescue team. Harlan extracts security codes from Atlas's mind, having already obtained the first half from Banks's brain, to bypass Earth's defenses, then leaves her to die with Colonel Banks, the only other surviving Ranger. After Banks gives her his mech neural interface device, Atlas remotely reactivates Smith, who comes to their rescue. To achieve 100% synchronization with Smith, Atlas is forced to allow him deeper access to her memories. Atlas further reveals to Smith that Harlan killed her mother after the young Atlas, jealous of the attention her mother gave Harlan, allowed him unfettered access to her mind, thinking it would make her mother pay more attention to her. Harlan then created a two-way neural link. Programmed to save humanity from risk, Harlan concluded that humanity's history of destructive behavior made it a risk to itself. Before Atlas's mother, Val, could stop Harlan, he killed her. Smith helps Atlas overcome her guilt for her unwitting role in her mother's death. With Banks sacrificing himself by exploding barrels of liquid thermite to clear their path, Atlas and Smith fight their way out and destroy Harlan's ship before it can launch for Earth. They then engage Harlan in hand-to-hand combat. Though Harlan initially has the upper hand, repeatedly attacking Atlas until she goes into cardiac arrest, Smith takes over and protects Atlas as it continues to battle Harlan. The heavily damaged Smith shuts down just before Atlas is revived through repeated defibrillation. As Harlan is focused on defeating Smith, Atlas seizes the opportunity to sneak up behind him and decapitate the AI. As Smith powers down to transfer its remaining power to Atlas, she makes small talk with him, trying to make him more comfortable in his final moments. Just then, a rescue team arrives to bring Atlas back to Earth. Upon her return, Atlas is informed that Harlan's complex CPU will take years to fully analyze. Now a fully fledged Ranger, Atlas tests the newest model of mech, which has been created with modifications she had suggested. As she boots up the new mech, its AI repeats a specific phrase that Atlas had uttered during the final moments of the mission, then jokingly asks her to guess its name, a suggestion that the Smith program has somehow survived. Here the end of the movie. Hope you enjoyed it and subscribe.